3, 2, 1.
Hello.
Welcome back.
I'm Nicole.
And I'm Megan.
And Shiloh is being really funny right now. She was being goofball.
Shiloh's a weirdo.
Shiloh's a weirdo.
And she's looking for snacks. But we are the Synchronicity Sisters. And if you want to know more about us, we do a bunch of stuff. Microdosing, change your brain, change your life, all of the things. If you're new, we encourage you to check us out. If you're old and haven't checked us out yet, please do visit our website, join our communities. Just like let us know that there's life out there. We really appreciate it. And if you ever have any desire to ask us a question, please give us, we want to know what you guys want to know. So let us know in the comments and things. But today, I think this is a very important subject because it seems to be a lost art, to be completely honest. And I know that I'm guilty of this, especially when I was younger, because I wasn't really taught grace for men and in culture and things. And I remember guys used to come up and talk to me, and then I would go back to my friends and snicker and be like, oh, that guy just asked me out ugh, and just I was a complete nightmare. So today I just wanted to do a podcast on how to reject men gracefully or kindly, because it's a lost art. Mm-hmm. And, not everybody that approaches you, you're going to be very, keen on, but there is a kind way to do things. And there is actually really a correct way to do things, because, just being nasty or laughing at a man or doing anything is the reason that, one of the many reasons men don't feel like men anymore. But it's also just nasty and infeminine to not be kind. So I don't appreciate the culture that I was very much a part of, basically emasculating men. It takes a lot of courage to walk up and talk to somebody, and we need to honor that and bring it back so that people are actually talking to each other in public. But I was actually out on a date the other day, and a guy that is extraordinarily confident, and he's like, yeah, it's crazy. I'll just tell a woman I like your purse or sweater or whatever. And she's just like, why are you talking to me? And it's and this is a very attractive man. So it's, yeah.
That is bizarre.
And he's a Gemini. So, he could talk to a wall and make friends. We've talked about Geminis before. So it's not like he's
it's the boy version of Meg.
Yeah. It's not like he's some creature. This is a very tall, attractive human being. So if he's getting that, I can't imagine what some of the other men in the world are, because he's probably an 8 or 9. It's just wild to me that somebody can't just say thank you and then you just go on with your day. Why do you have to be why are you talking to me? What do you want? What trauma has happened in people's lives that's our response to somebody paying us a compliment?
Yeah.
And I actually heard a podcast on this when men were talking about how women have really lost this. And I was like, oh, well, that's because they've lost their femininity. It's feminine to be able to reject someone gracefully without destroying. And we've both run across this.
Yes.
Now. And when you do it in the ways we're going to tell you to do it, actually men respond really kindly to it, because it's not... you're not telling them to basically fuck off and die, which is what, the majority of women do now.
Or they just never respond, and they just
nasty.
stop talking to them.
They're ghosts. Yeah, they ghost them.
Yeah, the ghosting culture is wild right now. I can't even...
But could you imagine? I mean, even in my younger years when I was, kind of crazy, never did someone walk up to me and I go, why are you talking to me? I never... never.
No.
That actually, it makes me giggle, because... Not that it's funny, it's just so abhorrent.
I just think humans have gotten to the point where now they're just, yeah, it's it's so transactional of what do you want from me? Why are you talking to me? And women have become so hard, and it's really a point culturally that we really need to check ourselves and look at our behaviors, because we're a bunch of hedonists running around.
Well, and also, telling somebody that they have... I mean, I tell people all the time if I notice something nice, and I'm not hitting on them. I mean, I tell women all the time when they have, beautiful eyes and things, because I just think it's nice that people know nice things about themselves and feel good about themselves. So if I notice something, I say it, and I'm not hitting on somebody. So also, you're making a huge assumption if somebody tells you that they like your sweater and it's a man, that he's hitting on you. Like, that's also super arrogant and ridiculous.
Well, I mean, I know that in a lot of workplaces now you can't. It's considered sexual harassment.
And see, this is why men don't approach women anymore. It's the Me Too movement that actually Candace Owens is doing an entire podcast on right now, that I have a lot of respect for her, because Harvey Weinstein is a piece of shit as a human, but she's proving that he actually wasn't guilty of a lot of the charges. And, like, that's insane to me. That
Yeah, but all the women that made allegations against him, like, look at them.
Oh, it's not shocking, honestly.
I mean, all of them have, like, they have a track record of man-eating. Like, they're just vile humans. Even, like, the stuff they put on social media. Like, most of them are, it's like, fuck the patriarchy, fuck the man, fuck this, fuck. And you're like, okay, that's not very ladylike. You're setting the example for the next generation, and you don't even, technically, you fucked your way to the top.
Well, I think a lot of women do that. And then they regret it later. And then they accuse a man of exploiting them sexually. And I'm like, that's questionable.
Yeah, I don't know. The Harvey
That's
Weinstein thing
questionable.
was like, I remember when it came out, it was so, like, controversial. And he's in prison.
I mean,
Isn't
what-
he doing,
yeah,
like,
he's in
35
prison.
years of, yeah. I mean,
It wasn't controversial. It was
super controversial because
they
it was,
condemned him, and he
Yeah,
went to
I mean-
prison.
yeah, but there were some people that were speaking out about it. Like, hey, this isn't right. Like, these women had a choice.
Oh, I don't remember that.
I mean, when I lived in California, I remember it was very much like, I remember having the conversation with multiple clients, like, oh, well, you know, they were claiming rape or whatever. And then it was, well, they still had a choice to, like, be, like, it came out later that they had, it was consensual.
Well, no, it came out that, I mean, that's why he's in prison, is because they claimed rape, and he actually got time for it.
Yeah, but there were people talking about that it wasn't rape and that these women were wrong. Like, that wasn't true.
No, it was transactional sex.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is that sex is not transactional. And if you choose to partake in something, then you can't later call it a rape. And that was the whole, like, that was why it was such a controversial topic, because it was, they were all willing.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting, because we've seen a lot of men, this be their downfall. I know, like, my yoga mentor, Bikram, was one of them also. You know, and it's interesting to me because, you know, I was 21 bopping around, and, you know, he was convicted of sexual assault, and that's actually why he isn't in the United States anymore. And from my interactions with Bikram, women said yes because they liked the power. And, you know, I had the opportunity to say yes, and I said no, thank you. And he was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, but it's also, you know, it partakes into this whole thing. It's like, if women actually respected themselves and understood how to reject men properly and not feel guilty or shame or whatever they feel, then there wouldn't also be this, like, pressure of, like, oh, well, actually, it was, I just was in the situation and I didn't know how to get out. Like, that's such bullshit to me. Like, love yourself more than, like, that. Come on. Like, say no. Like, you can reject somebody by just saying no, thank you.
I mean, that can get, because women, they're either essentially just like bullies or they're doormats, and they don't know how to say no. So
Well, that's
it's
what I'm
not,
saying, is-
they're not taught self-love, and they don't know how to stand up for themselves in the moment. So, you know, I mean, I've been in that situation and I didn't handle it correctly.
Right. I mean, that's like a part of this, of what a lot of our work is that you've gone through your journey of growing and loving yourself to be able to get to the point that if you're ever in that situation again, then you kindly walk away. You know how to walk away.
Right. But I don't think the majority of young women know how to do that in today's world.
No. I mean, that's why we're in the situation that we're in.
Yeah. But anyway, it's wild, actually, all of what goes on. I was flashing back to, I listen to a lot of podcasts, And this girl was like, yeah, this guy called me a whore, so I showed him by having sex with him. And I was like, what? And then I took his money.
What?
I was like, so you had sex with him and you stole from
What
him?
podcast were you listening to?
It's like the masculine mindset.
Oh, I like
crazy.
that. I like that podcast.
Yeah, and the guy was like, wait, so you showed him by having sex with him and then stealing his money? She's like, yeah, he called me a whore.
So you literally were a whore?
But I was like, that's not, no, because he didn't pay her. She stole from him and gave him sex.
So you're a thief.
Yes. And she was like trying to make it, I was so confused.
I don't
but that's
understand
the mindset
half
of women.
the things that are going on in the world now.
And then we wonder why, like, there's no grace. So anyway.
I don't even think half of them know how to spell grace.
No, they don't. So when a man comes up, or, you know, like, he won't stop texting you or whatever, right? So if you go out on a date with a man and you're just like, there's just nothing there, like, I especially on an online date, you say, thank you so much. I had a wonderful time. Unfortunately, I do not feel or have the chemistry with you to continue seeing you. And I am super grateful for the time. You don't have to say super grateful. You can just say grateful for the time. And I would be happy to be friends, but I do not want to use you, so we cannot be romantically involved. If you want to write that script down, then write it down, put it in your phone, and send it to men. And you can, like, kind of switch around ways of saying that, but that needs to be the script that you send. You tell them that you're not chemically attracted to them, that you're happy to be friends, but that you don't want to use them, because that's a big wound in the masculine.
Okay, but first you have to stroke them like you said. So stroke them. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, you were going back over your checklist.
Oh,
and you missed the gratitude.
Yeah.
So gratitude.
Always start with gratitude.
Talk about the chemical aspect.
Yeah.
Offer to be friends, and then say, you know, I just don't want to use you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gratitude is key. You got to stroke them first. You got to stroke everybody. Like, that's just a way of communicating.
Yeah, but I mean, chemistry is chemistry, and you either have it or you don't. So, you know, that's God-given.
Well, and also, if it's not necessarily chemistry, it could be, like, morally you guys don't align, or, like, maybe he doesn't want kids, or maybe he already has kids, and there's, you know, he's, like, 25% about kids, but, like, you're ready. Like, there's also that, you don't have to necessarily say chemical. You can also say, like, we just don't align, like...
Yeah, religiously.
Yeah. We're just on a real line. Just be honest. Like, if we don't, you know, but don't be rude or mean. Just be honest. Like, hey, we don't religiously align, or we don't agree on kids.
Well, so thank him for his time. So stroke, right? Tell him, you know, don't say you did this and this on the date. No. Don't pick him apart. Just say
statement.
Whatever statement it is, okay? Add in the chemistry, like Nicole was saying, the kids, morals,
religion, morals, whatever.
You don't want to live in the same place, whatever, in the second part.
If he's a crazy drug dealer and he told you on the first date and you don't agree with it, then tell him that.
Unfortunately, your job is not something that I feel comfortable with. Remember to come from your feelings.
Oh my God, that'd be so
you don't have to offer to be friends.
No.
Well, I've been in that situation.
If you don't want to be friends with him, you do not have to offer that. You can just say, I don't want to use you any further. Thank you so much for your time.
Right. And then you just...
And then...
Grace.
Yeah.
That's so graceful. Because I know it's hard to, like... I feel awkward, too, and I have to, like, end things with people. But we don't punish people for being who they are. We don't punish people for not doing what we want them to do.
Yeah.
We don't punish people for, you know, not paying for the bill or whatever. So even if another good thing, as I've seen, if he wants to be 50-50, you go, thank you so much for dinner. Unfortunately, I'm not looking for friendship. I'm looking for a true masculine man that knows how to provide. So unfortunately, I do not want to go out with you again. I wish you the best on your journey. Something like that. Like, it's just, but it's very graceful, but you're also, you can tell someone that they were being a dick, but you do it in a gracious way by telling them that they have every right.
Well, in that situation, like, that situation actually challenges him and gives him the opportunity. If he wants to step in and be a man, if he's interested, he'll come back and be like, oh no, I'm so sorry. Like I'm interested. I am a man, like blah, blah, blah. And like, I guarantee will never let you pay. You will never pay for a cup of coffee again. Cause you like, his brain was like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah. I mean, and you know what? There are things that aren't necessarily black and white that can be negotiated. Mm-hmm. And if you tell a man in a very graceful way, like, that didn't feel good, or this is not what I want, I don't want challenge, then it actually helps facilitate change in him and gives him an opportunity to understand. Because remember, men fix problems. So if you give him a problem, then if he likes you, he'll try to fix it. But again, so, you know, we don't ghost. So if a guy's like texting you over and over after you have rejected him, you say, thank you so much for sharing. Unfortunately, I'm not available for this conversation. Again, we are kind.
Or I'm no longer interested in having this conversation or continuing to conversate.
Or if a guy comes up to you in public and you're not interested, thank you so much for approaching me. That takes so much courage. Again, stroke. Unfortunately, I'm not available for this conversation at this time, but I really appreciate you coming over. That is graceful. You know, again, because you don't want, just because he's not the person for you, doesn't mean that we need to be disrespectful or unkind. And again, you want to continue to encourage them to approach women and be men. You don't want to be like, ugh, like, why are you talking to me? Like, I cannot believe that.
Well, and if you are approached by a man and he just compliments your earrings, or just say thank you. And you could literally like say thank you, thank you so much, and walk away if you want. Like, if you're not like attracted, I don't know, like if you're not feeling the vibe, then just walk away. I mean, it's that easy. Just say thank you. You don't need to be rude. You don't need to like. You wouldn't tell the guy who's making your cup of coffee, like, why are you making my cup of coffee? Like, that's how I think about it. It's like, just be kind to people. Well, there needs to be more kindness in this world, too. Like, just be kind.
Women are just extremely defensive, and that's a masculine shield, right? Grace is feminine. Like, that blunt, really, like, overly protective energy is masculine, and it's not attractive.
No.
And it's just kind of, like, I have actually never come across saying a compliment to somebody and them saying to me, like, why are you talking to me?
That's so
I would be so hurt. Like, not like, oh my God, I'm hurt, but just like, ow, like, that wasn't nice. That didn't feel good. So anyway, we hope that this is helpful. But it's just say thank you and just say something nonchalant. You don't need to offend anybody. It's actually really simple, and you'll feel better because you did a good deed. You're being kind. And also, someone will be kind to you, and you're not destroying somebody's, you know, the ego is important. And we've actually talked about this and other things. The ego gets us out of bed. It gets us dressed. It does all. And men are very egocentric. Women are very vain, right? Men's weakness is ego. Women's weakness is vanity. So we don't need to destroy a guy's ego. You know, their ego is important so that they build things and keep the material plane moving, because I personally don't want to build electrical towers or do any of the stuff. They do. The entire infrastructure
serve on the front line
is built by men.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go to war. I don't want to drive tanks. I appreciate the men do all of that stuff and their ego. And, you know, I realize guns are just kind of like penises that shoot things. And so men like, that's why they like playing with guns.
Sure.
It makes them feel very manly. And I appreciate that. I've shot a gun and I'm happy about that, but it's not, you know, again, I like that men do men things. And so let's be graceful and let's be gracious and let's just keep getting men back to where they belong, which is like speaking to women in public and asking women out on dates and paying for things and providing. And we kind of have to guide them back into that because we've kind of wrecked it. So we hope that this was helpful. If not, then listen to it again because you obviously weren't listening the first time.
Well, and I think the other thing is that when you kindly reject a man, he will not be afraid of the next woman. it boosts their confidence because then they're like, oh, there's like kind women in the world. Okay, I can do this again.
That's fair.
So like you being kind to him sets him up for the next woman to come around. So, because if you're continuing to be mean, then they'll continue to think that there's mean women in the world. And then they'll stop reproducing and doing man things and shooting guns and building things.
Yeah.
All right. And if you're watching us on YouTube, thanks for being here. Subscribe. If you are on Apple or Spotify, rank the show. And I think that's it.
Till next time.
All right. Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.